You are listening to the Wandering Chronicles podcast. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jamie. How's it going?
I'm here. I'm alive. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's been...
Same
time.
shit, different day?
It's been a time.
Yeah.
It's been a weird few weeks, and
Yep.
I'm just ready for things to go back to whatever normal is, and not feel so tired all the time.
I feel like I could spend a lot of time complaining and talking about shit that no one in the world wants to hear about. So instead, I thought I would do two things.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I want to highlight that last week was a very good week for the United States of America. And I think
It was.
it really is. Even though everything feels really dark and hard, I feel like I'm forcing myself to focus on the good things. And one of the good things is that fucking Congress finally did something that's good. Which
Yes.
feels like it's a long time coming. But it'll be really good for us and, you know, people who choose to have children. Their kids.
Yep. They passed some really good things last week, and I'm excited about that. On top of that, they passed that military burn pit so that the soldiers can have extended medical coverage.
Yeah, it's so fucking shitty that Republicans tried to pretend like that wasn't a good thing just because they were pissed off that
Manchin decided to go along with the Democrats. Yeah, sorry.
Manchin decided to actually vote on party lines for once in his life.
Yeah, seriously. And I'm glad the Inflation Reduction Act passed. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a misnomer for them to call it the Inflation Reduction Act because it doesn't really do very much for inflation.
No, but I think that's the only way to get it passed, because otherwise if they called it, like, a green bill or something, they'd be pissed or something, you know.
Well, I think the beginning it had a lot more to do with inflation, and I think in the long run it will, but it's not going to seem immediate enough for most Americans who just need help right now, but it is still good. It's great for future generations and for us.
And I heard that the FBI raided Trump's Florida home.
When did you hear that?
It literally happened today. Like, it was a surprise, unexpected raid, and he was pissed, and he was like, it was unnecessary and unexpected.
When did you hear it, though?
Literally, like, 20 minutes ago.
So I was so busy mourning Olivia Newton-John's passing that I missed that news. I mean, I'm still sad about Olivia Newton-John because I don't know if I told you this, but I was a theater nerd as a kid.
I'm not surprised.
It's great to hear that Trump's Mar-a-Lago, I'm guessing is what you mean, was raided.
Yeah. His Florida home.
Just watching Alex Jones' downfall has been the sexiest thing I've seen in a long time.
That has become my new favorite thing.
Yeah, who needs porn when you can just watch Alex Jones fall from a tall, tall building?
Yes, and just impale himself on his own lies. I love it.
Oh my god, it's just, like, delicious. And I was listening to this podcast today. I listened to this one called In the Bubble, and it was Patton Oswalt was the guest, and he's like, it's so fun to watch, it's just so perfect, and we all needed it. And the host is like, yeah, but we need to remember that this is, like, not something that normally happens, and we can't expect this to happen to all these rich people that are profiting off of everybody's pain. And Patton Oswalt's like, yeah, that's why it's good.
Yeah, we don't expect it to happen all the time. It's like that dessert that you get once a year, and you get really excited because it's, like, such a rare, sweet, treasured occasion.
Even less often than once a year.
Yeah.
It's like finding someone who can make cinnamon rolls as well as your grandma after your grandma died.
It's like finding a $50 bill in a purse you haven't carried in over a decade. It's like going through your old purses and finding $50. It's just like, oh my god, I love you. Thank you. This made my day. I'm gonna go buy myself something really fun.
There's such few times, especially these last few years, where we just get like a fucking shot of Schadenfreude. Like, just to watch these fucking dipshits get their comeuppance is really great.
If you believe in karma, it feels like karma's finally caught up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a start. And the fact that the DOJ is investigating Trump and all these other people is nice to know.
Yes, I'm not willing to put my eggs in that basket yet. I will say, however, the Alex Jones of it all, that is karmic retribution if I've ever fucking see it. You know that all those little kids got together and did that. If you can believe in God, then you have to believe that those little kids were like, we're gonna fuck with this motherfucker.
This guy thinks we died and it was fake. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't think that. That's the thing. He never has thought that. And if nobody ever believed him, and if it was just some dumb fucker on TV that people watched, but they, like, knew it wasn't real, fine.
It wouldn't be a thing,
But the problem is, all these fucking middle America dipshits think it's real.
Mm-hmm. He got his, and it was delicious, and I loved that judge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she was... I love more, like, starting, even going back, that they chose a female judge to begin with, because that in and of itself had to hurt.
Oh, that must have just made his butthole pucker.
And I heard his ex-wife subpoenaed the records, too.
Yes.
Because he's in the middle of a custody battle as well. All I'm gonna say is, I don't love relishing in people's pain, generally speaking. That's not a thing that I'm cool with. You know, we were able, as a country, as our military was able to find a prolific member of a terrorist organization and put an end to that man, and I'm the first person to say I will not celebrate anyone's death, and I don't think that's okay, even if it is that guy. Even when it was Bin Laden, I didn't think it was okay.
I feel the same exact way about that.
I could give two fucking shits about anyone who's an enemy to me as a human being and thinks I don't deserve equal rights. But at the end of the day, that's still someone's kid.
Yeah, that's still somebody's loved one.
I can appreciate his death much like I would a spider in my house.
Yeah.
It's no longer a threat to me, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But I will celebrate Alex Jones having a bad day every day it happens. Every fucking day it happens. I won't celebrate his death, but I will celebrate him having a bad fucking day. He's still alive and sweating.
Oh, you know he is sweating.
Just breathing heavy.
That man is living in a sauna 24/7.
Even before all this, he doesn't look like he's dry very often, does he?
He doesn't look like he's a healthy man.
No. So you ready to learn about Brewerton?
I did not even know it existed, so yes.
Cool. Well, I didn't either. So, we're in this together.
Let's take this adventure and go.
This week we are coming to you from Brewerton, New York. How'd you get there?
I, did the little windmill thing really fast until I took off like a helicopter. I'm exhausted. My arms hurt so bad, but my shoulders are so swole.
Did you just tell the joke, I flew here, but now my arms are exhausted?
Yes, but I took it to a helicopter, yeah. I didn't, wave my arms like this and flap like a bird. I'm a helicopter. I'm a helicopter, baby.
But when I think of helicopters, that's not what I think.
I'm a double windmill, baby.
I think of wieners.
Oh. I wienered my way there.
Way there. Who are you, Wilt Chamberlain?
Yes, he's the basketball player known for sleeping with way too many humans for one lifetime.
I'm not going to judge, but there were a lot. I'm not going to say too many, because too many is a judgment. I only know him for what he did with his wiener, not what he did with his feet.
I mean, he might have done stuff with his feet while he was using his wiener.
Veto! I do not receive that.
Alright, I let it go. I rescind my foot comment.
How I got there is, I crawled into an Ethernet cable and just, crawled through the internet wires to Brewerton, New York.
That's impressive. Mm-hmm. You've got skills.
Girl has got it going on. She got skills. Work the booty all night long. Yeah, so I took the Ethernet Express. So Brewerton, New York is a small city of just over 4,000 people, about 15 miles north of Syracuse, on the shore of Oneida Lake, and home to former Fort Brewerton, which was built in 1759 to defend the passage from Albany to elsewhere in the state. In this episode, we have our first listener-submitted story.
What?
We do.
Holy cow! Oh my god! That's our first time! Oh my goodness, I love this.
This one was submitted by Melissa Zablotny, who lives in the area. So thanks, Melissa, for sharing a local headline with us. It's very cool of you.
You've got a cool last name.
In March 2022, a Brewerton couple by the name of Kimber and Wayne Cummings were charged with embezzling a total of $1,136,370 from a dental office in nearby Baldwinsville, New York, where Kimber worked.
Wow.
Yep. She did this by misusing company funds and credit cards for her own personal benefit.
Sounds about right.
Yep. Kimber had been the office manager at Baldwinsville Family Dental until she was fired in April of 2020.
Okay.
She even tried to pay herself $120,000 after they fired her. That's some cojones of steel.
Yeah, damn. Come on, Kimber. You can't pay yourself from a job that fired you.
Right? I think they might notice.
Yeah.
I'd hope so. I'm assuming that's why she was fired, because they had already started to notice, but maybe not. Who knows?
I believe that honey pot dried up a while ago.
Gross. It's a gross reference.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just talking about a pot full of honey.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone who's talking about a pot full of honey call it a pot full of honey. I've only ever heard that used in regards to a pussy.
Yep. I still went for it.
Wayne's exact role in the crime has not yet been specified, but he is also facing charges. So I guess that's love.
Yeah. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Honestly, Brewerton's kind of a pretty small town, and not much happens there. But I wanted to include this short story because I was grateful that Melissa had given us the tip. And, maybe that's the last we'll ever hear. Maybe they'll settle outside of court. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
But
justice moves slow.
There was very little in Brewerton, particularly with the topic of love.
Well, I mean, obviously Wayne loved Kimber enough to go down with her.
Yeah.
In theory.
I mean, it depends on what he did. I don't know his role, so maybe it was a little bit more involved than even that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird choice, guys. You're an administrative assistant. You don't think people are going to notice that you are a millionaire?
Yeah, I don't think that's a move I would try as an administrative assistant.
I just don't get how anyone thinks that's going to not be noticed.
Yeah, it's very easy to figure out.
Yeah, especially when you're, like, an administrative assistant. No administrative assistant makes enough money to have $1 million on hand.
Oh, I think the IRS would notice something if I suddenly was like, oh yeah, I have this much in my bank account now.
For a story with a little more oomph, we are going about 30 miles east of Brewerton on the other side of Oneida Lake to a town by the name of Oneida, New York.
Oh, okay.
We will be discussing one of Oneida's most notorious community members, a man by the name of John Humphrey Noyes.
Bring in the noise?
They're bringing the funk. It's spelled differently, though, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, is it Noyes?
Correct.
Yeah, there's a L stop in Evanston with that same spelling. Noyes. Noise.
Yeah. First, I want to start off Noyes' story with a joke.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, I'm very proud of this. So, please don't let this flop.
I'm ready with my non-breathy laugh.
What do you think John Humphrey Noyes loved even more than he loved Jesus and silverware?
Oh god, what?
Forking.
That is good.
That's right, baby. We're talking about a Christian sex cult in this episode. But okay, let's get back to the beginning. I promise you that every element of that joke is going to make sense at the end of this episode, and you're going to be very amused by how hilarious I am. I swear to God.
I already know how hilarious you are, so...
This is for the other people.
Oh, the not me people?
Yeah. Weird, huh?
Oh, wow. I thought I was the only one that mattered. I guess I was wrong.
Other people also, in addition to you.
Nah, dog, they don't.
Before we move forward, I want to give an overall content warning for the topics of statutory rape, grooming, bullying, and eugenics. And I'm sorry.
Ooh, you had to throw in eugenics. Oh, okay. I'm ready. Bring it on.
John Humphrey Noyes was born on September 3rd, 1811 in Brattleboro, Vermont, to Father John Noyes, who was a Vermont member of the House of Representatives. So I don't know what it is about me and stories about the children of U.S. House of Representative people.
You really have a thing. You have a type in this podcast.
It was absolutely by accident. I chose this story because I knew this story, and then I learned this.
Wow.
And his mom was Polly.
So wait, this whole thing takes place in what year? Like, in the 17 or 18?
He was born in 1811.
Okay, so this takes place in, like, the 1800s at some point.
Yes.
And it's a sex cult.
Yes.
Holy shit. Okay, I am ready. I am buckled in. I'm ready. Let's do this.
His cousin was Rutherford Hayes, who was the 19th president of the United States of America. That's a fun fact.
Well, shiver me timbers.
Oh, God. Okay. I don't know what I expected you to say, but that wasn't it.
I don't know, man. I just don't even know anymore.
At 20 years old, John Humphrey underwent a religious conversion, which led him to enroll in Andover Theological Seminary with the end goal of entering Christian ministry to spread his newfound faith.
That always ends well.
He later transferred to Yale Theological Seminary, and that is where Noyes started to get weird.
Noyes got funky?
Yes, Noyes got funky. Noyes tried to discover exactly when the rapture would occur.
Apparently on my birthday in 2012.
No.
Damn.
No. Noyes tried to discover exactly when the rapture would occur, which was the first red flag, by the way, and became convinced that it had already taken place in 70 AD.
But that's so early.
Yes. This led Noyes to believe that salvation from sin was no longer possible, and therefore to actually be considered a Christian, one must be 100% perfect and free from any sin.
So that makes sense.
It does, actually, if you think about it.
I mean, it does, but also, like, how?
This belief system is known as Christian Perfectionism. He deduced from this, then, that he, in fact, did not sin, which is red flag number 2.
I think it's red flag 2, 3, and 4. It's a
bigger flag. It's not the biggest flag.
Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna stop.
We're not off to a great start with this dude.
No, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop now.
Oh, you know what? I forgot a trigger warning in the beginning. This is kind of a general trigger warning that only a select few people would maybe be bothered by, but if they are, there are some descriptive conversations about sex in this episode. So if you're really creeped out by that sort of thing, this might not be your favorite.
I'm not old enough to hear that.
Yes, you are.
But my innocent ears can't handle that sort of conversation.
Innocent my dick. We would not be friends if you were that innocent.
But I'm just a sweet, innocent young lady.
I short-circuited again. In 1838, Noyes married Harriet Holton, and the couple had 5 babies in 6 years, and sadly, only one of them survived due to being born prematurely.
Oh, Harriet just put in all that work.
This presumably led Noyes to have a fear of pregnancy, which makes complete sense. But instead of working through that fear with his spouse, Harriet, Noyes decided to move out in 1844 so he could perfect his new ideas surrounding male continence, i.e. having sex without ejaculating. This would be the 3rd red flag.
Yeah. What the actual fuck?
I'm watching your brain do the math not mathing thing.
Okay, so Sex without ejaculation. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking weirdo, but okay, got it. Not you, him.
I don't think that idea in itself is weird.
I think that it's weird that he had to move out of his house away from his wife and his child to work on that.
Oh yeah, that's for sure weird. And he, in general, weird. But I don't think that idea in and of itself is weird. Because a lot of cultures practice that. I mean, tantric sex is a thing.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just this specific dude is weird.
He is wrong, and he left his wife for something that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's the last you hear of her. Literally, I couldn't find any follow-up on what happened with her.
Oh, you know what? Hopefully she lived a better life without him. I doubt it because given the time period, but, like, hopefully she found a better life without him. Hopefully the baby took on most of her traits and not many of his.
No, the baby wasn't raised by him, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, it is out of his developing ideals surrounding male continence that Noyes started the Oneida Community.
Okay.
The Oneida Community was a Christian perfectionist communal society that was founded in 1848 in Oneida, New York. Members of the group practiced communal living, sharing everything from mixing bowls to spouses.
I mean, when you live in a community, you really do have to share everything.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. You cannot hold back a single mixing bowl. Or wife. Or husband. I'm sorry, can I borrow Jerry? I just need him in the bedroom real quick. Let me borrow Jerry. Thank you. Come here, Jerry.
It began with 87 members, but eventually grew to about 300 members.
Ooh.
Yep, that's a hell of an orgy.
At that point, who cares where you stick it?
That was a crazy game of poker.
Oh my god.
All members were expected to work either in the compound or through one of the various industries that the group had started, including silk production, producing silver-plated flatware, sewing leather bags, and building garden furniture, just to name a few.
To be honest, those aspects of living that community don't sound so bad. I'd get into the silk making. I wouldn't get into the rest necessarily, but I'd be like, hey, let me help you make some silk. I'll make some silver flatware. Why not?
The Oneida Community operated in a system of free love, which is a term actually known to be coined by Noyes and not the hippies.
Damn, they took that from a sex cult in 18-somethings.
The system of free love was called complex marriage. In complex marriage, any member was free to have sex with any other consenting member of the community. It was actually very progressive because they were very specific about consent.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they say yes and both parties are into it, why not?
Yeah.
That is free love.
I am totally on board with grown-ass adults doing whatever they want with other grown-ass adults, as long as they're all consenting. And they're not hurting anyone else. Why? Why not?
As long as both parties say, yes, I want to do this, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Everybody's consenting, nobody's getting hurt. Why not?
Yeah, that's a win-win right there.
Yep. That's how I feel about it. Possessive and exclusive relationships were frowned upon within the group. According to Noy, complex marriage meant that everyone in the community was married to everyone else in the community.
Okay.
All men and women within the group were expected to have sex with other members of the group.
Okay, so you just have to have sex. It doesn't matter who you have sex with, you just have to have sex with somebody who consents to having sex with you.
Yeah, I think the goal was not to have, rando me thinking this sounds amazing, but doesn't want to have sex with anyone.
Yeah. Somebody who just wants to, like, live in the community. Like, I would be like, hey, I'm here to make silk, but I don't really want to fuck anyone.
Keep your fucking filthy paws off my silky drawers!
I made them myself!
I made them with my body! But since childbearing members were not thrilled about a system that would have kept them pregnant most of the time, Noyes and other leaders within the cult developed a distinction between propagative love and amative love. Propagative love was sex for the purpose of having children, while amative love was sex for the purpose of expressing love, but during which the male partner avoided ejaculation.
Okay.
According to reports, this system avoided unwanted pregnancy pretty well. Interesting to me how many cishet men nowadays seem to think that avoiding pregnancy is 100% the job of their partner and not themselves.
The one who provides the ejaculate needs to hold it back.
If you don't want a baby, don't put the batter in the oven.
Thank you. Once it's in the oven, there's very little you can do to stop it.
Especially in Missouri.
Especially in Missouri. Oh, Lord.
This all sounds pretty great, right?
I'm assuming that there's a downside to it.
Don't assume. Let me tell my story.
It just sounds wonderful. It sounds phenomenal. Sign me up.
Well, hold on to your butts, because shit's about to get real damn quick.
I'm holding onto my butt, literally.
Great. So I'm going to throw out a content warning here for grooming and statutory rape. The group practiced something that they called ascending fellowship, in which women over the age of 40 were to act as sexual mentors to adolescent boys. And these women were also considered religious role models for their teenage partners. And the reason that this coupling was made was because they believed that women over 40 weren't able to become pregnant anymore. So while the young man learned how to control himself, he was with a partner that wasn't at risk of an unwanted pregnancy. This is the belief system.
I don't have words. I'm just so, creeped out by this concept. I get in theory that this concept should work, but it's so gross.
It's teenage boys. Likewise, older men often introduced adolescent and sometimes younger girls to sex.
Oh, I don't like that either.
Even worse, Noyes usually orchestrated these partnerships himself, which is the biggest red flag for everyone who's counting.
That is a huge, multi-block sized flag.
Yep, it's number 4.
I don't think there's enough fabric to make a bigger flag than that.
But they make silk. Can't they just make their own flags?
I guess they'll have to.
Alright, so to add another trigger warning, this time for eugenics, because Noyes was a fan of that as well, which is red flag number 5.
Oh, the really big red flag, too.
Community members who wished to bear a child together were expected to appear before a committee to be approved and matched with a partner based on their perceived spiritual and moral qualities. The practice was called stirpiculture, and the goal was to create more spiritually and physically perfect children.
That is definitely eugenics.
Yep. Once children were weaned, they were raised communally in one part of the compound known as the children's wing, or the south wing.
Oh boy.
And the parents were allowed to visit their children, but only specific adults were allowed to raise the community's kids. If those appointed adults began to suspect that parent and child were bonding too closely, quote unquote, whatever the fuck that means, a period of separation was enforced because the community wanted to stop the affection between parents and children.
That seems wrong.
That's a huge red flag, my friend. That's number 6. That's how you keep cults going.
Yeah.
Because you don't allow camaraderie, you don't allow bonding, so people only know the cult, and it makes it harder to leave.
Oh, man.
That's, in my opinion, what makes this a cult.
I agree.
Because consenting adults doing what a consenting adults want to do with each other isn't a cult.
No, but children can't consent, so there we go.
Beyond that, because I wouldn't say polygamy is a cult, and children can't consent to that if their parents are polygamists. Mm-hmm. They're raised that way. However, they're raised by loving parents.
Exactly. They still have a mother and a father that they can identify along with other family members that live in the house together. Yeah. Yeah,
so I think there's a distinction here where this is not strangers. It's a small group, so you're going to know everyone. But they're a third party. That's how cults are born.
Yeah, that's messed up.
The group also practiced something that they called mutual criticism, which to me sounds like round table bullying. So let's throw a trigger for bullying out there as well.
That sounds like art school.
That's sad.
Basically art school. You sit in a classroom, you put up something that you worked really hard on, and then everybody tears it down. You could have done this better. You could have done this with this. I like this, but I think it's overall it's a little weak in this area.
Essentially, every member of the group would criticize a single member of the group one at a time in an attempt to eliminate undesirable character traits. After everyone had their turn, Noyes himself would summarize all that the previous people had said and then add his own remarks to the mix.
Oh, that is bullying.
Yep.
That is organized bullying.
Yep, and that's another way that this is a cult, because you're knocking people down. It's harder for people who don't have faith in themselves
to escape
a cult, and that's another reason why this, in my opinion, can be considered a cult. Though I did see arguments that it wasn't a cult, but I don't believe that. I think it meets the criteria for sure.
I think if it looks like a cult and walks like a cult, it's a cult.
Every Mormon everywhere is like, ah!
Fight me.
So the Oneida Community lasted about 32 years before they put an end to it in 1880.
It's actually a long time.
Noyes attempted to pass leadership of the community to his son, Theodore, but this was unsuccessful. Okay. Theodore was an agnostic.
What?
And not everyone within the group wanted him to take control of it.
Well, you can't have an agnostic take control of a religious cult. Religious group.
No. No, dog. Fun fact, this led to the group fracturing, and one portion of it moved to California, where they convinced the local government to create a new municipality for them.
California!
Do you want to guess what municipality that was?
Oh, God. Oh, no. I don't. I want to just know.
Orange County.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Yeah, that tracks. Okay. California.
Within the community, there were some members who saw the practice of sexual mentors as problematic, and they wanted to do away with it within the group. This led eventually to gossip being spilled outside of the commune to the region of Oneida, where local clergymen, 47 to be exact, protested the community, which by that point had also become a major employer to many citizens of Oneida who were not members of the commune, because their businesses were growing.
Yeah. You got your silver, your silk.
Mm-hmm. The final straw came when a warrant for arrest was issued against John Humphrey Noyes for the charge of statutory rape. Upon hearing this news, Noyes fled to Niagara Falls, Ontario, and he never returned to the United States again. He died on April 13th, 7 years later in 1886, 74 years of age.
Damn.
So, let's do the math. That means that Noyes would have been charged for statutory rape of a minor at the age of 67 years old. That predatory piece of fucking shit.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go throw up.
Yep. Now, I did some research on the age of consent in New York in 1879, and what I found is varied.
Okay.
But one report said that the age of consent was either 10 or 12.
Oh, that's not much better.
Until 1890. After which time it was raised to 16.
I'm guessing that part of why it was raised was because of John Humphrey Noyes?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that's a good reason.
It is a good reason, but who knows? Who the fuck knows? I'm not saying that exact age of Noyes' victim, because there's no way for me to know that.
Yeah.
But if you do the math, it seems like
it had to have been
prepubescent.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. So do with that information what you will. And I'm going to raise our final flag, but this one's white because I need to be done talking about that.
I like that. That was a good one. Oh my god.
So, with Noyes gone, the remaining members of the commune decided to abandon the practice of complex marriage, and pretty soon afterwards, the community broke apart. Over 70 members of the community entered into a traditional Christian marriage in the following year.
Okay. They just chose their favorite partner and moved on.
I don't know. Something happened. The remaining members reorganized into a joint stock company, or a business entity in which shares of the company's stock can be bought and sold by shareholders. In fact, it was one of the first joint stock companies in the country.
Wow. Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. The newly formed company was called Oneida Community Limited, later shortened to Oneida Limited, and honed its focus on the manufacturing and distributing of silverware. This company still exists today.
Oh.
And is still a major producer of cutlery and flatware, serving primarily high-end restaurants and hotels.
I think that
I had definitely heard of them.
I know I've heard of them as a silverware company, because I vaguely remember looking at the back of, like, a fork and being like, Oneida, okay.
Yeah.
But, like, it's still a company, and it was born out of a sex cult.
Yep. And they don't like it when you talk about it. They're definitely not putting it on their main website.
Shocking. You mean it's not on the company website? I'm shocked.
Not on the homepage, no.
What? What about in their, like, a little section about their history? It's not in there?
Probably about us.
About us? Maybe, like, how we were formed. They're just going to skip over the sex cult and be like, we were formed by a small group of people.
Yeah. Definitely they weren't trying to control their sperm.
Nope. No tantric sex here. Oh my god. Ignore the children's wing.
In September 2004, the company announced that it would cease all domestic manufacturing after outsourcing the last of their manufacturing jobs overseas. Womp womp.
Of course.
This effectively closed the doors after 124 years of operation.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That said, design and administrative jobs still remain for Oneida Limited in the Brewerton, Oneida area, and it's still an employer that people work at there.
Wow. I mean, like, the silverware that you posted is beautiful.
It is. In 1947, Noyes' remaining dependents got together and burned most of the group's records. But you can still read memoirs like Desire and Duty of Oneida, Terza Miller's intimate memoir, and Special Love / Special Sex, an Oneida Community Diary, both compiled by Robert Fogarty and both immediately added to my reading list.
Oh my god.
You don't think that sounds interesting?
I mean, it does, but I don't know that I would read it. I'll wait for you to give me a summary.
I'm guessing that it's not nearly as explicit as what we would consider explicit to be.
Probably not. No,
I mean, it was still the 1800s. Explicit for them is like, and then he unlaced my bodice. I can get behind some bodice rippers. I don't need to hear the details of his wang, but
yeah,
bodice rippers I'm all about. That's
my band name, called it.
That's a whole genre of book. Did you not know that?
No, but I did not know that, and I'm good.
It's like You're not a... You're like, I'm good.
I'm good.
It's like a historical-based romance novel, essentially.
I'm starting a band called Bodice Rippers.
I'll give you that one. I like my band better anyway.
Okay.
It's too many Jennifers.
It's a good one.
I think so too. Today, the Oneida Community Mansion House, the home of the original Oneida Community, still stands after being designated a National Historic Landmark in 1965.
Okay.
The Mansion House is a nonprofit educational organization chartered by the state of New York, which welcomes visitors year-round and offers guided tours, programs, and exhibits that preserve, collect, and interpret the material and immaterial culture of the Oneida community.
Nice.
There are also residential apartments and meeting spaces located on the property. I don't know why, but that's just fucking a funny side note.
I'd Airbnb a room there.
There was, when I lived in Traverse City, there's a state mental hospital that was closed there, I think in the 70s. Yeah. The building was still standing. When I moved there, it was empty. But while I was living there, they started converting part of it to apartments. And then part of it was going to be like restaurants and stuff. And I don't think I could do it, man. I don't think I could live in either one of these buildings.
Like I said, I could Airbnb it for a night just to say, like, I stayed there, but I don't think I would want to rent it.
If I had to choose between two of them, I would choose Oneida Community Mansion House because, you know, I didn't have a single story of death that occurred there. I'm sure it did, for it was open for a long time, but it doesn't sound like it was murdery.
No, it's no murder in that cult.
Yeah, so that's the story of Brewerton / Oneida. I mean, it was pretty heavy in Brewerton, but it's only 30 miles away. I'm sure that, you know, people mingled. That's not a very big area when you consider people moving about.
It's just on the other side of the lake.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was really interesting, and I heard about this story a while ago. I learned a lot researching this, but I had heard about this story a while ago from the Cults podcast, which I'm going to include in the references.
Man, we haven't had a cult story in a really long time, so that was a nice return to cults.
Yeah, I've been trying to contain myself.
I mean, our last cult story was what, like episode 7 or 8? 4?
Yeah, it was number 4.
Okay, well, and it's really been a long time.
And I somehow managed to use the topic of love, which is not easy to do.
No, you nailed it.
I know. I was pretty proud of myself.
I'm proud of you, too. That's awesome.
But thank you to Melissa for giving us a local story to Brewerton, too, so we didn't really feel like we were cheating.
No, I like that story, too. I'd like to know, like, a follow-up, like, what happened.
Yeah, that was kind of, I mean, I kind of guessed that it's far enough out of Syracuse for it not to make much news in Syracuse.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't, and I doubt there's a lot of news articles or, you know, news outlets in Brewerton. It's a pretty small city.
Well, if there's any, like, trial or follow-up legal issues, it might take a while for that to even happen just because the legal system moves so slow.
Right, especially after COVID.
Yeah, it's just extra slow.
Yeah, but that's still stupid. Regardless of what the outcome is, they behaved stupidly.
I loved it.
Good.
I loved it. That was what I needed after the day I've had. I needed to hear something like that.
Something fucked up.
Something that should tell you what my day was like for me to be like, yes, tell me about a fucked up sex cult.
Yeah. All right. Let's see where we're going next.
Woohoo! Where are we traveling to?
We're going back to North Carolina.
Oh, snap. All right. Where are we going?
Louisburg.
Oh, I guess by the time we record the episode, I will have looked up the pronunciation.
Okay. It looks like a small town, so hopefully you can find something that tells you how to pronounce it.
Hopefully Wikipedia's got something, otherwise I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But let's find out what we're talking about.
Sounds good.
We got ourselves a people of prominence story.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see how many prominent people are from Louisburg.
Louisburg. Oh my god, that reminds me of marching band so much. We used to play that. That song was the song we marched to.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's like the only song most marching bands like have to learn. Like it's a requirement to learn that specific song, but then they add their own songs to it for like school stuff.
I don't know. I know that was like our main song in the summer when we did like parades and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll be honest.
It's a great marching band song, to be honest. So it's like, how do you not learn that?
It's played by a big band. All right. Well, I guess I will see you there.
See you there.
All right. Happy traveling.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Wandering Chronicles podcast with your hosts, Ashley and Jamie. You can follow us on social media at Wandering Chronicles Pod on TikTok, Wandering Chronicles Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and WND Chronicle Pod on Twitter. Or you can email us at wanderingchroniclespodcast@gmail.com. New episodes drop once a week. If you're liking what you're listening to, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple. If you don't like what you're listening to, that's fine. Please tell everyone you know about our podcast. Your bank teller, that person at work that you're pretty sure steals your lunch out of the fridge every day, but you can't prove it, so you don't say anything. The hot dad that walks his dog by your house every day. Your cashier at the grocery store. Your children's friends' parents? I bet they listen to podcasts. Okay, thanks. Bye!
Something made me laugh really hard, and I did that breathy laugh, and then I did the scream. I do like the screech, and it scared both my cats.
Yep, your breathy laugh has scared all of my cats when I'm editing podcast episodes, and they're like, what? There is a fucking pterodactyl in our apartment. There is a fucking pterodactyl here. Mom, you need to take care of that. Get the fly swatter.